if there is a flaw in your situation, then there is a flaw in you. Now, this comes to us from Seneca, and I'm in Florence right now, and I am backpacking Europe for an unknown period of time, but I don't have a plane ticket home. But today I started my day off, as I've started many other days, with reading, with writing, and that is where I found this quote from Seneca. And it really struck me because it reminded me a lot of a quote by Boethius. And that quote is, "If you are suffering, it is due to a misguided belief system, or misguided belief." And I can already see, or I can already imagine the comments that this video is gonna produce. What do I know? I'm just a privileged white guy traveling Europe, and I've never suffered. I've never dealt with any true problems. There's truly flaws in situations that are not internal flaws, they are external flaws. And I would say to those people, you're right. But I, or philosophy, will not stand for that. Because when you do this, you put the power outside of your control. And that is always a horrible thing. You never want to put you never want to put things outside of your control. And when you say things are situations' faults, that is what you do. When you say, this is not my problem, this is not my fault, you give up the power to change your situation. And to say that there's a flaw in your situation is to say that there's a flaw in reality. And how can there be a flaw in reality? Reality is just reality. It is neither good, it is neither bad. What you think about it determines that. And for instance, the flaw in your situation can always go back to the fact that the internal flaw is the fact that you don't believe everything happens for a reason, and that reason is for the best. Because any flaw can turn into a blessing when you believe this. It just rained here for, probably an hour, and I had to take cover, and, it just was what it was. But now there is a beautiful view. It's the calm after the storm, and there was just a crazy lightning strike. I don't know if you saw that. It was that way, but it's the calm after the storm, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's peaceful. There's nobody up here. There's a lot of people here. There still is. Someone's probably gonna walk up while I'm recording this, and then I'm gonna end the video because it's cringy. Even when they don't speak the same language as me, you know, doing the stuff I kind of struggle with. But yeah, this has just been on my mind all day, and I really wanted to bring it to your guys' attention. And I also want to bring to you guys the attention that even though I'm on this trip, I still start my morning off with philosophy because I believe it is so essential. I believe it is so powerful to center myself for the day. I start with reading, I start with writing, and I get a nice quote to ponder for the day. And then I dwell on it. And I really try to understand it. I have a lot of quotes memorized, and I'm kind of sick of that because I have so much things memorized, but I understand so little. and that is not good. It's better to understand and have nothing memorized. That's what a person like Socrates did. You know, true philosophers, true wise man. So I try to not memorize quotes as much anymore and just grapple with them in my own understanding and change the words if I have to. I used to always try to get the words exactly right. I'd go back and check when I'm writing it down just so I didn't mess up the quote. But now I just write it in my own words because that's what sticks in your brain and that's what truly matters, to truly understand these things. And when you think everything happens for a reason and that reason is for the best, then there's never a flaw in a situation. There can be no flaws because everything's happening for the best. And you can often, almost always, only see this in hindsight. And you just have to have faith. You just have to trust. And you just have to realize that there's no flaws in your situation. There's only flaws within you. And you should be grateful to these situations for bringing out the flaws that are within you, bringing them to your attention so that you can fix them. Is that not the point of bettering oneself, to fix flaws that we have? Is that not why you're watching this video, maybe? It's a video with an obscure title with some guy in a decent view and just talking to the camera. Why else would you watch this if you weren't trying to better yourself? Like I said, I've been pondering this a lot today, and I've been really trying to understand it. And I had so many better things to say, but that's not a flaw. It's just not coming to me at this time. So I'll leave you guys with that. And everything happens for a reason. So